I'm still on the hunt to find the best dessert recipe on TikTok, and I've tested some pretty gnarly ones. But here's a look back on all the ones that I've tested, including this first one that was pretty bad. Oh, by the way, welcome to the new kitchen set. This next dessert uses only 2 ingredients, and the creator says if you blend water and chocolate, you can create light, fluffy, airy chocolate mousse. But like oil and water, I'm not sure chocolate chips and water works. Wouldn't it just split into goop and water? Someone else said, I don't know about this one. I don't like watered down hot chocolate, and this sounds like that. But now she says to blend it for 2 minutes, and I'm using my highest powered blender here. Oh my gosh, it's hot. I don't know about chocolate mousse, but I definitely have chocolate soup. But now she pours it into a bowl. The consistency is fairly smooth, if not a little bubbly. I'm still skeptical because someone said I fell for this 24 hours later and it's just runny chocolate goop. Is it a mousse or is it a mess? I want to see if it really did separate like someone said. What? So you get a mousse layer on top with chocolate flavored water at the bottom. I was lied to. I didn't realize this was a rage bait recipe. Not good. 1 out of 10. This next one's probably not as bad as that chocolate mousse, but with 375 million views, we have a deep fried s'mores stack from our boy Zach Choi, the king of ASMR. Are you surprised? It's always him. But he starts by cutting the crust off his bread, save this for later. Then he flattens and steamrolls it with a rolling pin. Then he peels them off 1 at a time. Mine are pretty much stuck together. Now he breaks up his chocolate and let's build some s'more stack. I think his is a lot bigger than mine. This is gonna be a disaster. I already know it. Oh man. Now with the leftover bread crust, he makes his breadcrumbs, pours it over a baking pan, and then let's toast it up. And now he pours like a pancake batter to cover the entire thing. Oh man. This is like the Leaning Tower of pancakes. How do you even get the sides covered? He covers it like a whole cake. I think he's lying to us all. I think he covered the sides with more bread. And then he coats it with another layer of breadcrumbs. I can see a layer of bread on the sides. So now I have to figure out how to get this in here and somehow not blow up. This side needs pancake batter and breadcrumbs. Yeah, it's just creating a big mess in there, and I'm gonna call a complete cap on his recipe. He did something else that he didn't show us. Well, I can't match Zach Choi's level of epicness s'more stack, but I'm gonna try my own version right here and see how it comes out. Someone said, did he just fry chocolate? Heart attack speedrun, 30 seconds. Bro, I had a heart attack from watching. I legit yelled, wait, don't fry it. He can't keep getting away with this. At this point, his stomach can digest anything that's not fried or with that egg yolk on it. Crispy on the outside, heart attack in the middle, says Gordon Ramsay. Zach, it's normal food in Ohio. It does taste kind of like a s'more, but I think I just prefer the normal way. A 2 out of 10. I love ice cream. I love flaming hot Cheetos, but everything about this screams scam. But why does the end result look kind of good? So let's try it. Kind of like Cold Stone, we're gonna add a scoop of ice cream onto my ice pad. Now we're gonna crush up our flaming hot Cheetos. That satisfying crunch sound. Somebody said, this is how you know they're running out of ideas. But somebody else said, I'm gonna eat this even if it's the death of me. And with this amount of flaming hot Cheetos, definitely gonna be the death of me. Oh my goodness. The chili powder from the flaming hot Cheetos is making the ice cream look kind of like strawberry ice cream, but it's not. Let's scoop it into a cup. They crushed even more flaming hot Cheetos on top, but I think I'm good. This has gotta be a scam. Oh, the flaming hot Cheetos. Oh my god, this is so hot. My intestines and my mouth is saying absolutely no. This is an absolute scam, and it doesn't even taste good even with ice cream. 2 out of 10. This is an avocado cake, which apparently she says eggs and avocado has never tasted this good, except have you ever had an avocado toast? So she starts with 1 avocado and 4 eggs already in a bowl, and then she pours it into her blender. Somebody said you could have saved time by putting it all in the blender in the first place instead of dirtying 2 bowls. Work smarter. softer, not harder. But looking at her video, that definitely looks like more than one avocado. 4 eggs going in. Okay, now she adds 1 cup of milk. Then she sweetens it up with some honey. The last sweet avocado thing that I had was that Kourtney Kardashian smoothie, and it was not good. But I can confidently say that I have never baked with avocados before. I guess in theory it does kind of make sense. I'm skeptical on this one. Now she adds juice from half a lime, butter because apparently avocado is not fatty enough. Now we blend it all together. She actually said to blend it for 3 minutes until it's nice and smooth, but after 1 minute, I'm getting soup consistency, so I think we're good. Now she pours it into another mixing bowl, adds 1 cup of flour, and then mixes it until it's lump-free. This definitely reminds me of that avocado smoothie. It does mix up fairly easily though, so that's good. But now she says to give it that rise, we have to add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, which I am a little bit concerned because sometimes when you add too much baking powder, it has that metallic-y taste, and I feel like this is a lot. But it's her recipe. Somebody said, I made the cake, it tasted pretty good, but I don't think you added just 1 avocado and my cake did not fluff up. That's a lot of baking powder for the cake to not puff up. So let's add it to our cake pan, which I've already floured and oiled, and bake her up. My avocado cake looks nothing like hers. It deflated and sunk in even though I tested it with the toothpick and it came out clean. It feels spongy and airy though. Okay, I wanted to make it look pretty just in case it turned out good. Let's grab a slice. Is this gonna be an avocado souffle-like cake? Ooh, it looks kind of eggy. It looks like an avocado quiche. I don't think there was enough sugar because it doesn't even smell sweet. It honestly just tastes like an eggy bread with a hint of avocado. I guess if you're trying to go low carb, this could work. But as a cake and a dessert, I'm still on the hunt for a good sweet avocado dessert. 3 out of 10. Next up, we got some lazy donut holes that supposedly only takes 2 ingredients, except I don't have self-rising flour, so I have to make my own. I have regular flour and I'm just gonna be adding some salt and baking powder and give it a mix. And now we're down to 2 ingredients. 2 ingredients, that was 6. To a larger bowl, I'm gonna add the self-rising flour and some vanilla Greek yogurt. It has to already be flavored with vanilla, otherwise you're gonna have to add extra vanilla. But you know how Greek yogurt kind of has a tang to it? Somebody said, I made these, took 1 bite, it was sour. I'll be the judge of that. But now with the 2 ingredients, I just have to mix it up real quick until it becomes like a dough ball. I'm quite intrigued with this. It's turning into like a pretty shaggy dough. Problem is it's like uneven. I still have so much dry dough here. Let me dump it out. As I'm kneading it like bread dough, it is starting to get a little bit stickier. So it's hydrating the flour. Let me pick up all the crumbs. Okay, now she divides them into little baby balls. Just gonna roll them up real quick. Now it looks like she adds the dough balls onto parchment paper into the air fryer basket and brushes them with either a little bit of melted butter or egg wash. I'm gonna go with melted butter. And now she pops it into the air fryer for 8 minutes, except everyone was confused in the comments saying it's 180 degrees. You're gonna be waiting a long time for 180 degrees. That's Celsius, it's 350 Fahrenheit. Halfway through, I'm supposed to shake it so it cooks evenly. And back in it goes. Somebody said that looks so good. Could also be a good base for air fryer churros. Girl, that's absolutely genius. Okay, these look good. I don't know if they're donut bites, but we'll go ahead and transfer them to a bowl. She adds more butter on top and then sprinkles them with regular sugar. Let me just give them a nice shake so everything's covered. And a nice drizzle of chocolate sauce. I mean, they look pretty good, but they feel more dense like a golf ball than they do like a light and fluffy donut bite. You see, the thing about donuts and donut bites is that they get that nice fluffiness from the proofing and the rise of the yeast. This is like a hockey puck, and I'm not sure I love it. 3 out of 10. The shortcut was definitely not worth it. She said you can make the richest, fudgiest brownies with just these 3 ingredients. There's no eggs or flour. But she starts off by mashing 3 overripe bananas, and luckily I have some. Somebody asked, does this even work? I'm not about to waste all my ingredients because I want dairy-free brownies. Well, I will let you know. I will say though, if this actually works, I'd be excited because I was starting to get tired of banana bread. Now she adds in a giant dollop of peanut butter. This is where I'm starting to get skeptical. Somebody said hard to make without the recipe and baking time. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. Now we add some cocoa powder. Someone said no shade, but unsweetened cocoa powder is giving ... bitter. I don't think it'll be bitter because the bananas are pretty ripe, but I do wonder if these brownies are just gonna taste like bananas. This has the consistency of like chocolate frosting, except there's chunks of bananas in here. Okay, but after she mixes it, she adds it to a baking pan already lined with parchment paper, and then she adds a sprinkle of mini chocolate chips on top just to make it pretty. Okay, now we're gonna bake it up, and hopefully it's a miracle and not a scam. Surprisingly, the edges looks like it baked up real nice and has firmed up, and the inside is kind of still undone like a real brownie. I'm gonna let it cool a little bit before we cut into it. Okay, let's see how it turned out. Interesting. It looks like a dough here. Cut it open. The knife looks kind of creamy. So far, so good. Let's grab a square. Whoa. The center looks creamy. It looks more like a pudding than it does like a brownie. It still smells mostly like bananas. Let's see if it's any good. This is not a brownie. It's like eating cooked, mushy bananas, and I don't like it. I'll take a real brownie any day over this baked goop. 4 out of 10. This is one of the most satisfying desserts that fills up my entire FYP. It's the vintage cake. Some are in heart form, some are in round shape. I'm not picky, but since I am pretty much a beginner at decorating cakes, I'm gonna do a round because it looks a little easier. So I already have my cake baked. It's the same recipe as the Jelly Cat one. You guys can watch that video after you finish this one. But I do need to make a buttercream frosting. And this one looks pretty easy. It's called an ermine buttercream or flour buttercream. That's supposed to be a little more stable and less sweet than the American buttercream. You start off with half a cup of sugar, flour, and milk, and then you heat it up and whisk it until it looks like a pudding. This is like a sweet roux, and I found that a lot of people used to use this for vintage cakes back in the day. A vintage cake needs a vintage recipe. This looks like a custard pudding. Okay, now I'm just gonna transfer it to a bowl to let it cool down. And then I also have to put on some plastic wrap to prevent a film from forming on top. I'm gonna let this cool, and then we're gonna work on our buttercream. To finish the buttercream, I just have to whip up 2 sticks of butter with a little bit of salt and vanilla extract. We're gonna whip that up until it's nice and fluffy for about 5 minutes. I feel like the bowl of my mixer is too big and it's not really mixing well. Look, it's just kind of flat at the bottom. I'm just gonna add the roux so that we can add volume to the buttercream so that it can actually whip. I need to scrape down the bowl real quick. Oh yeah, that definitely helps. Okay, our buttercream is looking good. It's like a palish yellow, but now I need to dye it with some color, and I think I'm gonna go for a pink cake. I'm actually getting a little flustered because this is the part that I am the most nervous about. Hopefully I have enough buttercream. And just because I'm such a newbie, I'm just gonna keep it all one color. Okay, we're gonna start by gluing the cake down. No, let's fill it. I'm gonna do an outer edge of the buttercream, and then I'm gonna fill it with jam in the middle, just because I don't think I have enough buttercream. Okay, I'll repeat the same thing with layer 2. For the second layer, I'm gonna go with a guava jam, because I think that sounds really good. The last layer, and now we can crumb coat it. So I'm gonna take this one and just pipe it all around. You have to have like such a steady hand to do this. I'm starting to run out of frosting here. And that's it. That's my vintage cake. What do you think? I've seen people use this and it's pretty satisfying to watch. Hold it in one place and just wait. Oh no, that's not right. Wait, how do you do it? Shoot. Honestly, if I were making a birthday cake, I'd call this a day and say it looks good. So I found this design that looks pretty cute with all the ribbons, but I really love how this one has like the ruffles and then the cherries on top. I'm gonna attempt this. I have a whole box of tips that I can use for different shapes. It looks like this shape makes like a ruffle. You have to kind of like move it in and out like a ruffle. I noticed that there's a lot of like little shells. This is the most gorgeous cake you've ever seen in your life. They make it look so easy. There's always some kind of like double layer. Change tip again. What is this one? This one looks interesting. Wait, was this what I wanted earlier? Oh, she's gonna have a double skirt. Actually, that ends up looking a lot better. Okay, look at her double skirt. That's actually so cute. They also do the sides with like these drapes. What even is this tip? This is a case of expectation versus reality. Place some cherries on top. Oh man, my cherry syrup spilled on it. I'm proud of the bottom ruffle skirt. I thought that was kind of cute. But now there's only one thing left to do. Just have my cake and eat it too. Hey, at least the inside looks good. Vintage cakes are cool, but I'm gonna leave it up to the professionals. I'm gonna give my vintage cake 3 out of 10. Now this is a quickie brownie cake that she says only takes 2 minutes for breakfast. We'll see about that. But first she starts by adding some kind of blended oats. Oat flour. Don't like oatmeals, just have some oat flour. Then she adds some cocoa powder, a little bit of baking powder, some yogurt. It looks like melted chocolate. I'm not really sure how much chocolate we're supposed to egg. And somebody else said, I love the part where it says the ingredients. And she makes us go all the way to her Instagram to get the measurements. Just list it here. Some plant milk, and we mix. Someone else said, don't worry, I didn't need the ingredients. I just wanted to watch you make it. And honestly, this seems pretty easy so far, except I'm a little confused because she says this is a 2-minute breakfast, but her direction says to bake it for 20. But now she pours it into a ramekin that she oils. So let me do that. Tops it with some chocolate chips. At least we know it makes 2 servings. And because she says it only takes 2 minutes, I'm gonna put this in the microwave for 2 minutes to see if it gets that satisfying crack like she did. Mine doesn't have that deep brownie look like hers, but hopefully there's a lava center inside. Just smashes it down. Not quite. It's still gooey inside, but let's see if this is any good. It's a little gummy, like overcooked oatmeal. But since I still have this whole serving left, I'm gonna try baking it like she says. Okay, let's see if the baked version's better. Slightly, pretty much the same. I didn't get that goopiness inside, but it's still soft. Still getting that gummy oat texture, but it's slightly better than our 2-minute version. But I'd still say this is a lazy scam and took more work than it needed. 5 out of 10. Nothing is more comforting than a fruit pie, except pies take forever, and I'm feeling kind of lazy. So this is a blueberry crumble, which is a cousin of a blueberry pie. But she starts with a bowl of frozen blueberries, then she adds a little bit of cornstarch and lemon juice. Someone asked, what does cornstarch do? To which someone else said, thicken the juices from the blueberry, just so it's not super watery. This brings out the flavor and brightness of the blueberries. I have to make sure the cornstarch coats all the blueberries. Now we have to microwave it for a minute. So while that's cooking, we're gonna make our crumble topping. She adds in some oats, a little bit of vanilla whey protein for health and sweetness, some cinnamon, honey, a pinch of salt, and a little bit of water. Gotta get it nice and crumbly. The blueberries after a minute are not quite cooked through yet, but now we have to add our oat crumble on top and then microwave it for another minute. Whoa. This looks like a real blueberry pie thing, except now she takes it up to a whole nother level, adds a dollop of Greek yogurt, a sprinkle of cinnamon. Someone says she added vanilla ice cream and it tasted exactly like a blueberry cobbler. There's like a pool of blueberry juice at the bottom, so I feel like we need a little more cornstarch for that. But someone said, I've been making this for breakfast ever since I saw the video and I'm in love. It's a little watery. Does it taste like a blueberry cobbler? No. Does it taste more like a blueberry oatmeal? Yes. But I think we've tried better lazy dessert hacks. 6 out of 10. I found another lazy recipe that uses an avocado and only 5 ingredients. So hopefully this one turns out a little bit better than the last one. All you have to do is add some cocoa powder, same amount of maple syrup. She calls for non-dairy milk. I'm using almond, a little bit of vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt. Someone said, my oh my, we love getting avocado as a sweet treat. To which the creator said, yes. The secret nutritious ingredient. All right, let's see what we have here. Oh, it looks like chocolate pudding. She tops hers with a little bit of whipped cream and chocolate shaving. Not gonna lie, this looks like a pretty amazing dessert. Does this taste good? Tell me honestly, because if I wasted whole avocado, I'm coming for you. I'm not gonna lie, it does taste like avocado. Sweet avocado. 7 out of 10. If you thought there's no way you can ruin chocolate chip cookies, this might prove you wrong. I'm about to make scrambled cookies. Hello? 911? I'd like to report a crime. So this recipe starts off by shaping Toll House chocolate chip cookie dough into hamburger patties. He adds it to a warm skillet. Okay, so once the patties are in, I guess you steam them. I can understand if you were to try to bake or cook the cookies on a skillet because you don't have an oven maybe, but the fact that he goes in and scrambles it like this is crazy. This is so chaotic that it feels illegal. I'm gonna do this. It's like soft, oh, but kind of cooked. I mean, I'm sorry, did you just hamburger meat the cookie dough? So how much do you scramble here? So I'm just gonna let it cook some more. And then his final move, and I don't know, his ended up looking more like real cookie pieces. I feel like he faked and baked it. But then we top it with some ice cream, chocolate syrup, whipped cream, and a cherry on top. This gives crumble cookie a whole different meaning. I can't say I hate it. 7 out of 10. And now with 4.6 million views, we have chocolate covered blueberries, which the creator says might be controversial, but it's supposed to taste 10 times better than chocolate covered strawberries. But now she takes her toothpicks and stabs each one like a lollipop. Someone said this is for people with a lot of time on their hands. To do this individually is actually crazy. I would probably try to do multiple at a time. It's a lot of toothpicks. Now it looks like she has chocolate chips in a bowl and she melts it. Okay, our chocolate's nice and melty. Let me just give it a quick stir. And now we dip. She leaves the crown of the blueberry exposed. Somebody said these are so perfectly dipped. Yeah, it looks really cute that way. Let me shake off the excess and then onto the parchment paper it goes. One down, 50 more to go. 1 hour later, I'm almost done. And we're finally done. She doesn't show it, but I'm pretty sure she puts this whole thing in the fridge so that the chocolate can harden. Well, I can confirm that the setting of the chocolate took way less time than actually dipping the chocolate. But now it looks as though she has to remove all of the toothpicks one by one and plops them into a bowl. What am I supposed to do with all these used toothpicks? She says the crunch of the chocolate with the blueberries popping inside is actually insane. Someone says, see, the problem is that I would eat all of these in one sitting, and since I didn't make that many, that is definitely a possibility. But is it better than chocolate covered strawberries? No, I still like chocolate covered strawberries better. 7 out of 10. This is the perfect dessert when you're craving something kind of sweet, but feeling kind of lazy. It's not just a banana. We're gonna do things to it. Okay, so I'm gonna slice my banana down lengthwise. This part is kind of tricky. Oh, what? Someone said leaving the peel on is insane, but the peel just acts as like our shell or our cup for this dessert. Now we're gonna cover each half of the banana with a little bit of honey, top it with a little bit of cinnamon, some chopped peanuts, chocolate chips, and then a drizzle of peanut butter. Now we're gonna drop it into the air fryer basket and cook it for 10 minutes at 350 degrees. And it's ready. Ooh, it's toasty. My question is, how do you eat this? But someone said, I usually wouldn't go for a banana as a dessert, but dang. And someone else said, see, the problem with me is that I would eat 10 of these in one sitting. The banana is so soft. Now that's a banana split. At first bite, I didn't love it, but then it kind of grew on me. Like the banana is kind of soft and mushy, and then combined with the kind of burnt but melted chocolate chips, and then the peanut butter comes in. It's like, I don't know how to feel. 7 out of 10. Now we have one of the cutest things I've ever seen in my life. Toast cookies. I've been meaning to put this recipe in a video for a few months now. Her outer dough is kind of a brown butter situation, so let's drop this baby in. I'm gonna melt this stick of butter until it's nice and browned and nutty, and then we're gonna pull it off the heat when we work on our dough. Okay, I've let this cool for about 5 minutes. I'm gonna add some sugar, and then I'll just mix it up real quick till it's nice and fluffy. Then we're gonna add an egg yolk, a little bit of vanilla extract, mix it up again, and then on the side, I'm gonna mix my dry ingredients. We have flour, a little bit of salt, and baking powder. And then we're gonna pour the flour into our butter mixture. Mix it all again. The brown butter isn't quite making it brown enough, so we're gonna add a little bit of brown food coloring. I need to massage it a little bit just to make it come together, because right now it's a little crumbly. This is a good crust color. Okay, now I'm just gonna pack it away in a little baggie because we need to chill the dough. Our dough is nice and chilled, and while it was chilling, I also made the other parts of our toast cookie. She starts off by cutting her little toast cookie on the light color dough. So I'm gonna roll it out until it's nice and flattish. I'm gonna cut and stack my bread slices, and then we're gonna work on the crust. It's losing its shape. I feel like the dough has to be really, really cold for it to not be so sticky. But now I'm gonna work on the crust. This reminds me of Play-Doh. I think she kind of lines it up, measures it. Oh, she even wraps the sides. Wow. Oh man, my crust is breaking. Why? This is some thick crust. You don't like bread crust, but you might like cookie crust. Okay, I think we got it. So let's slice our loaf. Kind of. It's more of a Minecraft block now instead of a piece of toast. Man, how did she get it so perfect? Now that I think about it, she probably froze the toast slices before wrapping it in this outer cookie dough. But now let's add our butter. Would you like some butter on your toast? Now let's bake them and hopefully they keep their shape. And here they are. Someone in the comments said, my brain cells actually stopped working when the butter didn't melt. They're so cute. Honestly, they may not look as perfect as hers because I was having so much trouble rolling. I'm just glad it semi-worked. The recipe's a little bready, but I guess for this, it makes sense. I'm gonna give this a satisfying level of 7 out of 10. Next up, with 1.1 million views, we're making a watermelon jelly donut, which this creator calls skin food. But she starts off with her pink layer and adds a teaspoon of dragon fruit powder, some gelatin, boiling water. Ooh, that is so pretty. And as much honey as you want into a cup. But she says the snack is so delicious and bouncy. Someone asked, what is skin food? Someone else said, I think it's food that's just good for your skin. And just so you guys know, gelatin is full of collagen and so good for your skin. There's still little chunks in here. And now she pours it into her donut mold, but she says make sure you put a baking sheet under it first. I'm just filling this halfway up because we have 2 more layers to go. And into the fridge it goes until it hardens. So our first layer has hardened a little bit, but now we work on the rind or the white layer. So she just adds some more gelatin with hot water to let it bloom, and then she adds regular water and milk. Thing is, she adds such a thin layer of this, she said you're probably not gonna need the whole thing. If you're curious about what milk jelly tastes like, just add it to another bowl. And our third layer will go on in a little bit. The white layer has firmed up a little bit, so now I'm gonna add our green layer. She uses this thing called pandan leaf powder, which is kind of like an earthy vanilla-y flavor. But someone said this would be so good with coconut milk for the white layer and matcha for the green layer. I love matcha, so I'm 100% gonna try that. It smells good. Now we do gelatin, boiling water, and this layer has honey again. I mean, it's kind of what it's doing is like melding into each other. I don't know what happened. So I think this layer was too hot to be poured on top of the milk layer. The other layer, she mixed it with cold water, and this layer, she didn't do that. So I think it kind of melted into each other. The green is becoming milky, but we'll let it sit one more time and we'll finish it later. Okay, our watermelon jelly is set. I was a perfectionist and I really wanted to see a layer of green on top, so I just covered it. Now let's unmold it. Ooh, it's very fragile. Don't break. Don't break. Oh man. Aha! Success! This is actually so cute! The pink layer on this one broke off. If there's a secret to making jelly cake layers stay together, you guys have to tell me. Yay, another perfect one. But now she tops them with a little bit of black sesame seeds to make them look like real watermelon. You know what this reminds me of? A pool float. Like someone said earlier, dragon fruit tastes like paper, like air. I don't taste any dragon fruit, but I definitely taste the pandan, and it's so interesting. Definitely gonna try it again with the matcha, but this version gets 7 out of 10. Now we're making ice cream with just a watermelon. Apparently all you need is 2 ingredients to make the creamiest watermelon ice cream. But first she starts by cutting her watermelon in half. People in the comments were shocked there was no seeds in her watermelon. And I have a few, but there's such thing called seedless watermelon. And then scooping out all the flesh onto a baking pan. I'm gonna try to get big chunks here. The spoon is just basically my giant watermelon baller. This watermelon is so juicy, I try to pick out the heaviest watermelon. And if I picked out a good one and this watermelon is sweet, you have to subscribe. Sweet like honey. Smash that subscribe button. Finally done. I'm gonna save these watermelon bowls for a little later, but now let's freeze our watermelon chunks until they're nice and solid. Our watermelon is so hard, I can barely get them apart. Let's go in with the hammer. Okay, I think that helped. Now for our second ingredient, some honey. Will it even close? Okay. I really stuffed it in there. Now let's swirl until it becomes nice and sorbet-y. The honey got so cold that it like froze to the lid. Are you sure I shouldn't be adding any liquid to this? I don't know about this. Maybe my chunks were too big. I really feel like I need some water in here. That's as good as it's gonna get. Let's add it to my watermelon bowl. I do think a blender would work much better. This watermelon sorbet gets 7 out of 10. I've been seeing these cotton candy cakes on my FYP for months, and they look so satisfying. Thought it'd be fun to try to make it at home. We're gonna start off with pink. I haven't used this thing in a while, and the last time I did, it was to test cough drops. Oh! It's starting! Yay! Okay, see them do it like this at the fair. Oh, okay. I'm starting to get like real cotton candy taking shape, but I wonder if this is enough to make that first layer. Okay, don't get too close to the heat source because it's starting to melt. I think that's it. Now I gotta just jam this in and make it as dense as possible. Wow. It feels wrong to be smushing cotton candy like this. Oh, but actually though, it did a pretty decent layer. That's so pretty. Next color, we have pink vanilla. That's a little bit orange. Is it me or does this look more pink than our last one when it's supposed to be orange? We're just gonna have you guys trade places. Now let's add our pina colada. The yellow is definitely yellowing, so that's good. Now we're getting to the fun part. Have you guys ever seen those animal faces of cotton candy? Those are satisfying, but I don't know if I'm good enough to attempt those. Oh, green. What flavor is this? Oh, it smells like lime. Lime it is. Oh my god! Don't jinx it by saying that. This doesn't look super green to me. Is it gonna actually be green? This company got their colors all wrong. Finally, blue raspberry. The blue is looking really good. The blue is so pretty. But inside, there's like this rainbow crust that formed. I'm curious to see if it's just candy now. Look, it reminds me of those like sour strips. Pretty good. One of the comments said 1 sprinkle of water and it's over. That's like 12 cents of sugar. And they sell these cakes for like $30. Yay! And then on top, they always add some sprinkles. It's like a real cake. I feel like it's gonna like flatten on me. The sound of cutting the cotton candy is so satisfying. And this video serves it on a plate. Whoa. Gorgeous. But you know what the best way to eat cotton candy is? I'm gonna give this an 8 on the satisfaction level. That cinnamon roll only took 90 seconds to make. Let's do it. Because I'm lazy. She starts by mixing an egg, some melted butter, and vanilla extract into a ramekin. I love a good cinnamon roll, but usually it takes way too long to make. But she also said she was able to lose 100 pounds making desserts like this. So she uses almond flour, baking powder to give it that rise, cinnamon, cause duh, and then a little bit of sugar. She mixes it again, and then she tops it with this brown sugar cinnamon mixture. I'm gonna try to do it in like a swirly pattern. Good enough. And now we just cook it for 90 seconds in the microwave. So in the meantime, she also makes a cream cheese frosting. All she does is add a little bit of cream cheese, sweetener, and a splash of almond milk. She adds the cream cheese frosting to a piping bag. And then make a little swirly on top. It's giving Cinnabon vibes. But does this actually taste good? Because someone said, she was not lying about this, it slaps. Whereas someone else said mine tasted like eggs. A little bit eggy, but it's super fluffy and you do get that hint of brown sugar cinnamon in there. 8 out of 10. And now with 170 million views, these are Nutella stuffed pancakes. Bro, I have trust issues. I thought that was slime. And she doesn't show you, but in her recipe it says to freeze some dollops of Nutella. That may be too much or too little for the pancake. We'll find out. And now to make the pancake batter, she starts by cracking 2 eggs into her wooden bowl, adds a little bit of maple syrup, it looks like, some sugar, mixes them up, and then we add the dry ingredients, flour, and now she adds water, but I think I'm gonna add milk. And then her recipe also says to use vanilla essence. My batter looks a lot thicker than what she shows. Maybe I'm gonna add a little bit of water. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now let's make our stuffed pancake. And now once it cooks a little bit, she adds her Nutella. And I can confirm that 5 minutes is nowhere long enough to add the Nutella because it's still kind of sticky and does not look like hers. Then she adds a little more batter on top of the Nutella, spreads it out so it covers. You kind of gotta work fast here. I'm hoping it has that beautiful golden brown color like hers at the bottom. Oh yes, that's so satisfying. Perfectly smooth. But somebody said, just make pancakes and spread the Nutella. What a waste of time. Very artistic, very careful, very beautiful. But now the most satisfying part of it all is when she breaks it open and squeezes the Nutella. Somebody said, only people that watch Doraemon will know what this is called. It's a dorayaki. I'm surprised there was no butter or oil in this whole recipe. The pancake's a little dry, but the Nutella makes it just taste so good. 8 out of 10. And now with 900,000 views, we have a s'mores crunch wrap. She actually says this is a perfect snack for a date night. And actually, cameraman loves anything in a tortilla, so he'll be the judge of this. First thing she adds to the tortilla are marshmallows. Fun fact, this is not the first weird thing I've had in a tortilla. On our first date, cameraman made mac and cheese with hot dogs that he wrapped in a tortilla. It was Interesting. Now in the top right corner, she adds chocolate. She somehow breaks them into like perfect sizes so that they curve with the tortilla. Now in the top left corner, we need graham crackers, except she crushes them. It's of like varying sizes. Oh man, put more chocolate right here. Now I'm going to attempt to fold this, but someone said instead of cutting it and trying to fold, add it all like a quesadilla and fold once. She starts with the marshmallow side first, but that's just a disaster waiting to happen. So I'm gonna try to hold down the chocolate and work it the other way around. Okay, that did not work out. I need the s'mores to be with the chocolate. I guess there was some rhyme to her reason. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, that was easier than I thought. Just tuck a few of those stray ones in. And now I flip it over. But now you have chocolate on top is chocolate on the outside. Whatever, now we have a chocolate crepe. Let's cook it. I'm gonna add some butter, let it melt, and then we just lay it down and cover. Well, it's a nice crispy golden brown and it smells like a s'mores campfire. Just commit to it and roll it. Okay, well, that was easier than I thought. Oh, cameraman!
My mouth is stuck together. 10 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, tortilla.
8 out of 10 for me. Now we have a classic dessert, lazy style. It's actually kind of healthy too. But this creator starts by adding some Greek yogurt to a blender's cup and then some whipped cottage cheese. Someone said, stop, this looks so yum. I didn't know whipped cottage cheese was a thing. But as far as I'm concerned, whipped cottage cheese is the only way to eat cottage cheese. Shoot, I messed up. She actually adds the Greek yogurt into a bowl. I got confused because somebody said I made this as a fluffy yogurt. Actually though, fluffy yogurt and fluffy cottage cheese might be a new thing. It's so thick and creamy. I'm kind of loving this texture. It looks very thick and pudding-like, but now she says depending on how sweet you like the pudding, you can add in 2 to 3 tablespoons of this vanilla pudding mix, and this is optional, but then we can add some vanilla bean paste. She says the vanilla bean's supposed to make it taste like a bakery style pudding. Finally, she adds in some banana slices and Nilla wafers. Where's my banana chopping tool when I need it? The pudding powder is making it turn really yellow, and now it looks like a very creamy pudding. I feel like I could just eat this straight up like this. Now she transfers it into another servable bowl, adds some banana slices, and sprinkles over some more cookie crumbs. So this would be how she serves it after it's chilled. She said if you have no self-control like her, she would just eat it right away. And since this looks so good, I'm gonna try it right now. Does this make anyone else have a weird teeth feeling? Like it's too sweet? This might be my new favorite dessert or breakfast. That was so good. It's sweet, it has a banana-y flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and give this 9 out of 10. This next one gives us all the brownie and the bites without the baking. And it only takes 5 minutes. But he starts by adding some flour to a bowl. But everyone got mad and said, it's raw flour. It's not good for your stomach. Please don't eat raw flour, LOL. And someone else said, can someone explain why everyone is saying to bake the flour first? I'm from Finland and I don't understand. Well, to the creator's defense, he did have text that said heat treated. It basically just means cooking up your flour at 165 degrees so that it kills all the bacteria. I guess you can microwave it too if you're feeling extra lazy. The flour did take on a little brownish tint, but it just adds a little bit of nuttiness to the brownies. So now we add some cocoa powder, sugar, melted butter, and a little bit of milk. Ooh, it's starting to come together. Someone said that hers became a gloopy mess, but I think mine is looking pretty good. Okay, now he scoops it into little dough balls and finally dusts it in some powdered sugar. They remind me of little cake pops, minus the pop. So cute. He said that you can make 5 dough balls with this, but I was able to stretch it to 6. The powdered sugar basically just melts into the brownie bite, and it looks pretty good. But someone said, future me, was it good? Let me answer that for you. Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? The best part about the brownie is the edge, but since we can't get that, the next best thing is that gooey center, and this is just the perfect consistency, and it has a little bit of nuttiness in it. This is probably the best lazy dessert so far. 9 out of 10. Is it cake or bread? It's actually both. But with 500,000 views, we're making some cloud bread. I'm gonna start with 3 egg whites into a bowl. Save the yolks for later. That was a close one. And now she whips it up until it's nice and fluffy. This is called soft peaks. Then she sprinkles in some sugar and cornstarch and some food coloring, but I have other plans for this. Let's whisk it up to stiff peaks. Nice and glossy. And while this creator made it blue, I went down the rabbit hole of TikTok cloud breads and I saw rainbow unicorns. So we're gonna be making this unicorn. We're gonna dye this one pink, this one blue, and this one purple. But now we're gonna dollop a little bit of each color, kind of like a little painting to form our unicorn cloud. A little bit here, a little bit here. And then in between the spaces of the purple, we're gonna layer our colors just until it starts to form kind of like a football shape. This is so fluffy, oh my gosh. Happy little unicorn cloud. Now we just smooth it out, form it into a nicer shape, and then we bake it for 20 minutes. Here it is. I want to say it looks a little more puffy than we last saw it, but it's beautiful golden brown. I'm gonna let it cool for a second. Okay, it looks like people on TikTok just break it open with their bare hands fast, because if I let it sit, it starts to deflate like this. Oh, it's hot. Whoa. So hot, but so satisfying and so worth it. Look how pretty that is. Just like cotton candy, it deflates so fast. Okay, let's see if this is bread or angel food cake. It's sweet like angel food cake, but it's chewy like bread and melts like cotton candy in your mouth. 9 out of 10. We have the crookie. It's basically a croissant stuffed with chocolate chip cookie dough inside and on top. Some people wondered who invented this. Well, it was actually a French bakery in Paris. So we're gonna start with some melted butter. Then she adds her sugars, brown and white, some vanilla extract, an egg, and then her dry ingredients, flour, baking powder, and baking soda. My chocolate chip cookie only uses baking soda, if you know, you know, and salt. She mixes it again and then adds in chocolate chips. I feel like the dough is looking a little dry, but we're gonna go with it. And here is my cookie dough. Hers looks a little more wet, but it could just be maybe her butter was a little warmer than mine. But we're gonna stuff the croissant with some cookie dough inside and on top. So apparently this recipe, when it went viral, everybody tried copying it. A lot of people in the comments said, this looks appetizing, but it doesn't at the same time. I mean, I love some chocolate croissant, but is this overkill? These look incredible. They look so good. Okay, I get the hype. I'm gonna let it cool for about 5 minutes and then we're gonna break it open. Okay, let's see how chocolatey this is inside. And then it looks like she cut hers in half before she opened it. And now we have to squeeze it. Oh. Hers still looks better. This is decadent. Imagine the richest chocolate croissant mixed with maybe a little bit of almond croissant on top because of the crispiness of the chocolate chip cookies. Oh God. It's like a chocolate croissant on steroids. Messy, but delicious. Probably can't have too many, but I'm gonna give this 9 out of 10. And now we're making chocolate pudding. Are these hard-boiled eggs? Why, yes, they are. So she already started with peeled hard-boiled eggs in her blender. So this recipe might seem weird, but in the video, she says that she got this recipe from Emmy. I did some digging, and apparently the recipe is by Emmy Made, another food YouTuber that's actually legit. So I'm quite interested to see how this one turns out. She then adds coconut milk. I'm just gonna use half a can because I have this recipe. She went back in to add more sugar, so I'm doubling the sugar amount. Some cocoa powder, vanilla, and then she blends it away. Someone said seeing eggs and the next words being pudding really stresses me out. Look at all the chunks. We're supposed to blend it up until it's nice and fluffy and super silky smooth. Wow. Yeah, it doesn't smell like chocolate pudding. Oh my gosh. You know that smell when you cook eggs in the microwave? The inside looks nice and silky smooth like pudding, but on the outer edges, there's still a little bit of egg white chunks left stuck to the side. And yeah, my stomach's bubbling. But we're not done yet. She transfers the pudding into bowls. I'm just gonna use one big bowl here and refrigerates it overnight to set. It is kind of cool that the consistency is pudding-like though. Someone else in the comments said, ain't no way that don't taste like eggs. I am scared to try. It's nice and chill and it's looking pretty firm. Oh, wait, it looks more like chocolate mousse than chocolate pudding. The structure looks really good, but then I remembered how it was made.
Kind of tastes fishy.
Fishy? But this lady just seems like the sweetest woman, so I feel like there's no way this could be rage bait. How is that possible? What the heck? This tastes like a very good chocolate mousse. I am not even lying to you guys. I guess it does make sense, but usually chocolate mousse starts off with more of a custard, and this is maybe a really good hack. It's a creative concoction. I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10. This is as lazy as it gets when it comes to froyo. And apparently, I can turn this cup of yogurt into a froyo with a magic chocolate shell on top. Okay, so this creator adds this whole cup of yogurt into this coconut bowl. Someone said, I thought the bowl was chocolate. But we're not just gonna have plain boring vanilla. She then adds some peanut butter, cocoa powder, and a drizzle of honey, mixes it up. Ooh, it's like a peanut butter cup yogurt. So fluffy. Let me flatten it out for our magic shell. That did the trick. So then for the magic shell, all she does is take a little bit of chocolate chips, add some coconut oil, and then melt it together. This looks like enough. Let me smooth out the chocolate mixture. Ooh, nice and melty. I think we want it kind of runny. Now all that's left to do is to pour it on top of our yogurt, spread it out, and freeze for 30 minutes. Someone said, man said easy. Someone else said, 30 minutes ain't quick. Our froyo is ready. The shell has hardened. Let's go for that satisfying crack. Oh. Wow. The froyo is like whippy and fluffy. Never tried peanut butter with froyo before. It actually works. And with the crunchy chocolate shell, it's a perfect topping. Hey, at least now I don't have to get in my car and go to Yogurtland. 9 out of 10. Have you guys ever seen that blue sky jelly cake? It is the most mesmerizing, hypnotizing, sheer satisfaction. Oh my gosh. The way he just slices through the jelly. So I actually found another page on TikTok that showed us how to make this 3D sky jelly cake. He starts by blooming his gelatin, and I don't know if this beef gelatin is the right one, but I'm gonna try it. You have to bloom it with some water. Okay, so while the gelatin blooms, we're gonna work on our creamy cloud portion. We're supposed to have some whipped cream. I'm guessing it's a he. So he starts by mixing his cream cheese with some sugar, and then he pours in the bloomed gelatin, except his looks a little more watery. Am I supposed to heat this up? That'll make our cloud jiggly. Mixes it again, and then he gently folds in his whipped cream. My vintage cake sucked, but this one is gonna be perfect. I am definitely getting fluffy cloud vibes here. So he or she does this circular piping motion, starting with 3 or 4 dots, and then just fills it around. That is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Okay, let me go ahead and bang it just to flatten out the top. Oh, now it's like fluffy clouds. I'm gonna put it in the fridge and let it chill for about 30 minutes while we work on our jelly layer. He starts by blooming the gelatin again. I'm gonna boil together some water, coconut water, and sugar. Let's read some comments. They're mostly in Japanese, but there are a few ones in English. I cannot describe how gorgeous this looks, even the production quality, the lighting, the camera, everything here is perfect. Honestly, if I've ever seen a more satisfying aesthetic video, this is it. Okay, now we add in the bloomed gelatin and then just stir it until it's completely dissolved. So now I have to cool it down in an ice bath. She pours it directly into a baking pan, and I'm not sure if the baking pan is oiled or what. It doesn't look like it. And she sticks in one cloud, flat side facing up. Ah, I'm shaking. Wow, the jelly is already firming up. Let's put it in the fridge and let it set for like half an hour. Okay, so for our next layer, I'm actually gonna pour it into a measuring cup and dye it like a pale, pale, pale blue, so there's a nice gradient in our jelly. Oh yeah. So it looks like she pours it right on top of the cloud. Pouring it on top of the cloud was not the move, because now there's like little baby speckles of white in there. Let's add a new layer of clouds. I think I'm gonna add some baby ones. Okay, last layer, I'm gonna add a little more blue to this to make it a really beautiful clear sky. Let's add our last few clouds. I'm just putting them where there's like blank spaces. And for this layer, I want them pretty submerged. Back in the fridge again, and then we're gonna finally get to unmold this. So here it is, and I'm gonna try to flip it over onto a plate, but I'm gonna try warm it up to loosen it up. I don't know if that's the sound I'm looking for. Please don't break. I will be so sad. No! Oh my god. What happened? In the parts that are intact, it is quite beautiful. There was no way that I could leave you guys hanging with a failed aesthetic cake like that, so I actually made it with some corrections. You guys deserve better than a failed cake. Ah! Okay, but that's pretty freaking amazing. Now this next one is so satisfying, you're not really sure what she's even biting into. Is it a gem? Is it a rock? Nope, it's a candy. And it's actually a Japanese candy called Kohakuto. Kohakuto. You start off by blooming your agar-agar, which is like the gelatin that they use to make this candy, and you bloom it in some water. And similar to gelatin, you kind of just let it bloom for 5 minutes. So once our agar-agar is bloomed and ready, we're gonna heat it together with 2 cups of sugar. Remember, this is candy. And then we're gonna heat it up on medium and let it come to a boil for 2 minutes. Okay, I'm just gonna keep stirring to let the sugar dissolve. And then once it's all clear and bubbly, I'm gonna take it off. Someone in the comments said, whoever invented this kind of candy, thank you. It's such a satisfying experience every time someone eats these. But I am so excited to bite into one. Oh wow, and now it's like crystal clear. So I looked online and all of theirs are colored and flavored, and since I still have this cotton candy from the Alex Earl ice cream, I think I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple drops. Ooh, it's a pretty pink. So we're gonna pour it into a mold. I found this one that's like a heart gem mold, and I think that would be really pretty. So I did see a few reviews where they had jam-filled silky gems, and I think that's so interesting. So I'm gonna try the jam on a couple. All right, now we have to let it set for about an hour before I can remove it from the mold, and then we let it crystallize. All right, I'm just gonna pop them out and hopefully they don't break from the mold. This is so satisfying. Even just like this, it's so satisfying. It's a gem. It's not too sticky. It's pretty firm, like a gummy. But now we place it on some wax paper, and within a few days, the whole thing should harden up and crystallize. I'm so tempted just to try it like this, just to see what it tastes like. And now I just let science and the air do its thing. I think our crystallized candies are ready. So the one with the jam, I didn't do it right, so there's like a hole here. It's hard, but it's not as hard as it can be. But the regular ones, and they even developed like sugar crystals on the side to make it extra gemmy. This is so cool. But now I'm really curious about how it tastes because someone said they all taste the same, like perfumed ice. It's candy. Since this one is already broken, I'm just gonna try to tear it apart and see how satisfying it is inside a broken heart. The jam makes it so much better. 9 out of 10. We have TikTok's golden girl, Alex Earl, making cotton candy ice cream. Apparently, her family owns an ice cream shop in New Jersey, and she starts off with an ice cream base, which I don't have, so we're gonna make it. So in a saucepan, I'm gonna warm up heavy cream and milk until tiny little bubbles form on the edge. And then in a separate bowl, I have some egg yolks here that I'm gonna just whisk it up with some sugar, and then I'll temper it with the warmed milk, whisk it up, and then pour it back in. We're basically making a custard here. Apparently, this ice cream shop is pretty popular, but nobody knew that her family owned it. And someone said, Alex Earl knowing custard specifics was not on my bingo card, but as a Wisconsin girl, I love it. I love it too. So it's thickened up slightly. You can't even tell, but I'm gonna add a pinch of salt and then some vanilla. And then I even found cotton candy flavoring. Nice and pink, just like hers. Oh, it is strong. I think we'll do a whole tablespoon. Oh my gosh, it got it nice and pink. So tempted to taste this right now. Okay, so I'm gonna transfer this into a bowl and we're gonna refrigerate it for 2 to 3 hours until it's nice and cold. Our base is completely chilled. So now I'm gonna pour it into the ice cream maker and we're gonna let it churn. Okay, so I have to let this churn for 25 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes is up and let's see if it's ready. Whoa, it looks pretty good. So she mentions that there should be a specific texture for the ice cream and you want it to be nice and like goopy. Let's add some sprinkles. Okay, I think we've reached the end here, so I'm just gonna scoop everything out. Probably gonna have to chill this a little longer. Does this look nice and goopy? I'm so tempted to try this right now, but I gotta wait until it's the right consistency. One last shot of sprinkles. Let me smooth it out. Oh, she's soft. I'm gonna chill this for a little bit more. Alex Earl's ice cream is finally ready. I've been waiting to try this. Oh yeah, that's a satisfying scoop. 2, make it 3. I'm not driving. Mine doesn't look quite as aesthetic as hers, but I also didn't grow up having an ice cream shop. But she calls this Candyland ice cream, and it definitely looks like that. Wait, this is really good. Whoa! The cotton candy flavor is so subtle, like sweet vanilla-y with the sprinkles. This is so fun. Okay, this is a 10 out of 10 too. Next up, we're making chocolate chip cookie dough, and it's so lazy, we don't even have to bake it. She starts by adding a whole stick of butter into a bowl along with brown sugar and white sugar and then mixes it up. So far, we're following a regular chocolate chip cookie recipe, but now instead of adding an egg, she adds milk, then some vanilla extract and mixes again. Okay, it's got a similar texture. It's kind of loose, but now she adds flour, except it's heat treated flour, which is basically flour that's baked to kill any bacteria and germs. I'll bake mine for like 7 minutes, which basically defeats the whole purpose of like not baking your cookie to begin with. It's still slightly warm, but that's okay. She adds the flour, salt, and of course, chocolate chips. People were saying, I've made a lot of edible cookie dough and this one's the best and currently the easiest. Someone else said, oh my god, I love this recipe. I've been doing it since I was 11. So thanks for making this slick out there. I feel like my flour got kind of clumpy even though I shook it and mixed it halfway through. Maybe I should have used a bigger pan. The dough is looking a little on the dry side. Okay, the cookie dough is finally all mixed, and then she transfers it into a bowl that makes it look sort of like ice cream, and then we dig in for a scoop. Being a chocolate chip connoisseur, eating it raw like this just feels so wrong, but it could be so right, so let's try it. That was actually so right. I can't believe I'm doing this. 10 out of 10. Is this a pie or a pizza? Both. It's a rainbow fruit pizza. With 1.3 million views, she starts off with some cookie dough, but I gotcha. Save you some money, we're gonna make some. In my bowl, I'm just gonna add some butter, regular sugar, brown sugar, and whisk them all together until they're fluffy. Then I'm gonna add an egg, whisk it again, and now I'm just gonna add some baking soda, baking powder, a little bit of flour, our vanilla extract, and some salt. Nice and sticky, just perfect. And now I have a whole pizza pie pan that we're just gonna press the cookie dough right into it. Somebody said, this is great, awesome, I love it, but I think we've gone too far with the word pizza. This reminds me of what they have at Mrs. Fields at the mall. Now we can bake it off in the oven. And once it's done, it's this giant cookie. And I have to let it cool completely because she then spreads some kind of frosting right on top of the cookie. And I'm not sure exactly what it is, but somebody said mix cream cheese and marshmallow fluff for the icing. Are we doing the whole jar here? It's gonna be so sticky. I don't know if I've ever had this combination before, but I'm so tempted to try it. It's actually really good. Okay, now let's spread our icing. Oh, that just spreads so nicely. Like glue. And now it's time to build our masterpiece, starting with our strawberries, which I'll be chopping. Okay, now I do an outer ring. Now we're gonna move on to orange. Let's go ahead and peel this orange. Ta-da! Perfectly split segments. She lays it down like this. This is already looking so cute. Okay, but then she skips over yellow, and I feel like mango would have been such a good addition to this. And she moves right into the kiwi for the green, blueberries for the blue. I don't know about real pizza, but this is definitely a labor of love. And then another ring of maraschino cherries for red, raspberries, and then more strawberries right in the middle. Our masterpiece is done. For all of the work and art that went into this, I feel like she deserved way more views. I feel bad ruining this. It's one of those flimsy crust pizza. Somebody said technically it's healthy with all that fruit and all. Let's see how it tastes. This might be my new summer dessert. Is it too early to give out a 10 out of 10? Now we have what this creator calls summer's best treat. And instead of dipping your strawberries in chocolate, we're just gonna drizzle it right on top with something else. But she starts by cutting her strawberries in half, lines them in like a little trio. That's so cute. They're like the perfect little strawberry cluster flower. She drizzles over some melted chocolate and some melted almond butter. And it kind of reminds me of those strawberry covered chocolate in a bowl from last year. I wonder how many view counts that has now. Oh, I was thinking that almond butter didn't need to be melted, but it looks like it does. It doesn't win any beauty points, but... And now we sprinkle it with a little bit of sea salt. Now she says to chill it for about 15 minutes until the chocolate and the almond butter firms up. So the chocolate has firmed up completely, and I just noticed something. They firmed up to look like little hearts. This is so cute. And then the back side of it, it's pretty freaking cool too. Someone said they did this and it tastes so good, and I don't think they're lying because you can't go wrong with strawberry covered chocolate. 10 out of 10. This is a 3D cartoon cake. I'm not even sure if it's real. Someone said, no, seriously, as soon as I saw the video, I thought it was a GIF. Or is it a GIF? He starts by making his cake. I already made one, but now I have to figure out how he got them into these perfect little cake slices. So I gotta whip out my ruler and do some measuring. So I think I'm gonna go in half and then cut them in Is that right? Diagonally, and then just like trim them all to kind of be equal. This will be my guide right here to keep it straight. So far, so good. Let's flip it around. Now comes the hard part. What I think I should do is kind of stack them on top of each other, cut them into triangles, so hopefully they're even. Lefty goes with lefty, and righty goes with righty, except this one is so much bigger. Okay, well, since the sides are kind of crispy, I'm gonna shave it off right here. I feel like I'm on an episode of Is It Cake? Which actually this creator was on season 1 of Is It Cake, and he did a phenomenal job. So we need to go in at like a 35-degree angle. Bet you guys didn't think you'd get a math or geometry lesson watching my videos. That looks like a cake slice to me. Now let's put this one over here. I guess I should do the same on this side and make sure they're all even. This one baked unevenly, so I'm gonna have to flip it over like this later when I frost it. And then I think the rest of them look pretty good. So he does a chocolate ganache frosting in there. Basically, I have to chop up the chocolate, heat up some butter, whipping cream, and let them all melt and turn into a nice, beautiful, chocolatey frosting. And that is the easiest part of this entire exercise. Okay, we have our silky smooth ganache. It's cooled down quite a bit, so I feel like I can work with it a little bit better now. But I'm just gonna put a dollop at the bottom just to glue the bottom layer, make sure it doesn't move. And now we build. This got hard real fast. Okay, so he starts by adding a thin layer of the chocolate all over this piece, getting it on the side. I'm gonna switch tools. And then he puts another layer. Okay, this one will be flipped upside down so we can get a straight cake. Feels doable. I thought it was gonna be super hard to do this. Oh man, this piece is just kind of sticking out, so it would have been good to straighten it out. Next layer. Should have carved it. I should have carved it. I'm gonna flip this one over on its side too. That kind of helped. Am I aiming for perfection? Not quite. I just want to see if I can do this. Okay, now my last piece of cake goes on top. You think it's okay if I cut the cake a little still after the frosting's been on? And since there's not quite enough here, I need to glue it on this side. There you go. Oh, yay! And now we could continue and finish. The ganache is starting to get hard, so it's not as spreadable. How did they keep it so neat? Oh, look, it's starting to even out, and the little gaps that I was experiencing before almost doesn't even matter. Finally, he goes in with this tool and just smooths everything out. I figured out what the word is. Spackling. It's like smoothing out the paint on a wall. The cake is lopsided. I don't even know, but I'm gonna let it kind of chill and firm up in the back while we work on the decorating part. So the red part wraps around the main part of the cake. I have some red fondant already dyed here. It feels like Play-Doh or clay all at the same time. But the problem is I need to roll it out to the exact measurement of the cake. 4.5 height by 7.5 cake. Is this gonna stretch out to that whole cake? I'm hoping so. What's 7.5 times 2? 15 inches. This one needs to be a little bigger. I've never actually worked with fondant before, but we have a lot of Play-Doh around here, so more than enough. Okay, now I just need to make sure the height is good. And now my fondant cutter, a pizza cutter. Okay. Shh. Oh man, this is not good. I'm gonna put this aside. This will go on the inside of the cake. And now I need some white fondant. I need these to be cut into 2 different pieces. One that kind of overlays the top of the triangle and one that goes in the back. He also makes a little swirly thing. Now let's cover our cake. No, there's a tear. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yay! Just have to make sure it sticks somehow. Not bad. Okay, now I have to trim it. My handy dandy fruit carving tool will help me. It wraps the back part. How do you get these to stick to each other? I'm guessing water. A little fondant on fondant gluing action here. Please stick. Oh shoot. Turns out water does work. And now he does like a squiggly design with it. Not a super clean cut. I gotta go a little harder with it. Oh, look at that. I did cut through the red, but I don't think it matters. But look at that. Now that I know that we have to have squigglies, I should just do it right here. Let's lay this on top and hopefully it covers the whole thing. Yes. I feel like I need to cut this a little bit or tuck it in. They have tools to smooth these things out. I think this part is a little bit too big. Now I just have to glue it all down. But now he takes extra white pieces and he draws a 2-layer cake. Get it up, straight, 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 press, 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 press. And then he cuts it off right here. Seamless. Oh my gosh. Can't believe I did This side looks like a mess. I have to place the poop on top. Now we turn it into 3D cartoon cake by outlining every single nook and cranny with this black fondant, which he has in like a very thin line. So I don't even know what he used to make it so uniform. I've seen people on the show use like pasta extruders. Sticking. Oh no, it's dyeing my cake. I feel like a frosting pen would be so much easier for me without the skills to do this. This is why those beautifully designed cakes for weddings or birthdays are so expensive. I fully am on board with the handiwork that they put into every single little detail. They're like broken outlines. This part is actually the easiest. Ugh, it's staining all the sides. Now I have to do the little swirly details on the side of the cake. Yes. Wrap the poop. Ugh, that works for me. You have to outline it, dude. And then he just goes and cuts it off because then he puts on a cherry, a little white shadow. Oh my gosh! And places the cherry right on top. Am I done with this cake yet? I think I am. And that was one of the hardest things I've ever made. Ta-da! We did it! I did it. Oh my god. But the most satisfying part is this reveal where he cuts into his cake. Is it cake? Look at those layers! What? Oh my gosh. We baked, decorated, and now we are gonna eat it too. 10 out of 10. This creator says if you have 5 minutes, this might just be the easiest mango mochi hack ever. Because she starts off by wetting some rice paper. Isn't rice paper salty? I feel like it's more neutral. Puts it on top of a bowl. While it softens, I'm gonna peel my mango. And it looks like she cuts hers into pretty good chunks. Perfect timing because the rice paper is soft, but now it's sticking to my bowl. Let me just unpeel it. Oh man. But now she sprays in some canned whipped cream, adds her mango chunk, twists it into a ball, and then she freezes it for 15 minutes. Ooh, and look at that. It's like a little dumpling. Someone else said trying this, but with strawberry. I feel like that would be so good. But you know what? I do feel like this recipe is easy, but let's see if it's easy enough for a kid to make.
Love mango and strawberry.
So we have 3 little mochi purses here. Let's freeze it for 15 minutes and see if it actually tastes like mochi. It's done freezing and it's cold, but it's not very hard. So I definitely think that it's biteable. But I think we need to call in a taste tester for this. Do you want to try the one you made?
Yeah.
Cheers. The rice paper is pretty chewy and the part where you had to cut it off is so thick and then the whipped cream is kind of gloopy. I can see this getting kind of messy.
10 out of 10.
And now my #1 TikTok dessert recipe of all time, which I'll be making it all summer long. It's gotta be a watermelon. We're taking it up a million notches and making watermelon fruit jelly inside a whole watermelon. So she starts by making her fruit salad and adds all of the berries and some grapes. She mixes it up. Isn't that lovely? She says that. That actually looks so refreshing. But now she cuts open and cores out her watermelon. This becomes like the lid. I have a hack. I'm using a pineapple corer. Somebody said the biggest part skipped over is that it takes an hour to scoop out all that watermelon. Ta-da! Except I still need to core out the sides. I think I just need to core out enough to fit all this fruit. Okay, now we spoon the fruit back into the bowl. And someone said, just put the fruit directly. Why use 16 other little bowls like we did earlier? He has a point. Turns out I think I have more than enough fruit. Now we have to work on the jelly that holds it all together. Into a bowl, she already has 1 cup of water. And now she sprinkles in 4 packets of gelatine, except I have bulk, so it's like 3 tablespoons. And now she pours in 3 cups of boiling water. I wonder how this is gonna taste inside the watermelon unflavored. Like, is the fruit sweet enough? Now she pours the whole thing into the watermelon, and I already know this is gonna be a disaster. As an experiment, I should pour the rest into the leftover watermelon to see how this watermelon jelly looks. Put the cap back on. And now let's chill these both. Our real watermelon jello is nice and firm. Let's try to unmold this. I'm not even sure how exactly I'm gonna be able to get it out. Oh, it's starting to come out. Oh. Wow. This feels like one of those vintage Jello cakes. Whoa. Jelly jiggle. I think I like the other watermelon jelly a lot better. But now let's see what's inside of this one. Whoa. It looks like a fruit punch bowl. But now I have to cut it. Hopefully it tastes a lot better than the last watermelon Jello that we just ate. Ta-da! This would be so epic at a summer barbecue, honestly. That looks so cool. But does it actually taste good? This looks so cool. It's like a stained glass jelly. I'm already impressed. I can also confirm this is way better than that right there because it actually has all the burst of flavors from the fruits, the grapes, the strawberries. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be making this all summer. 10 out of 10. But if you like this video, go watch me test another hour more of TikTok recipes. Might be giving this away, but this was my favorite candy recipe.